She will be presenting a short talk about the story of the South Asians in Scotland and their achievements. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Saqib.
Respected elders and esteemed guests, good evening and assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings upon you all. It is an honour to be asked to come and share a few words about the achievements and the contributions of the first generation of South Asians in Scotland, in particular the Pakistani community. At Colourful Heritage, we have the UK's largest online archive, which you've just seen some snippets of, which contains audio video stories of our South Asian elders from Scotland. The archive itself has given us incredible insight into what life was like when our forefathers and mothers came to Scotland, mainly as economic migrants. And in particular for the city of Glasgow, many of them came from the Punjab regions and from Punjab region within Pakistan and India. The Pakistani pioneers were highly organised, vocal and active in fundraising. They have greatly contributed to the tartan of Scotland through their civic and political participation, as well as entrepreneurship. They have and continue to enrich Scotland's culture and heritage, especially through their vibrant cuisine, businesses, and their religious buildings, religious institutions. So this year, 2022, is the year of stories. So let me take you back and tell you a little story of South Asian heritage in Scotland. Of course, on our timeline, we start in 1855, which is when Maharaja Dalip Singh came from Lahore and stayed in Castle Mengus in Aberfeldy in Scotland. But one of the first known names that came at the turn of the century that came to Scotland was somebody called Nalku Muhammad in 1916. And along with Mr. Dunda, they both managed to bring other friends and relatives that could come and stay and keep them company in Scotland from Punjab. So in the 1920s, the community worked as hawkers, street lamplighters. Many of them became pedlars, which you'll know in the early 30s, 40s and 50s, they were providing a service selling goods door to door, even though they were unable to speak English or even write English. And of course in the video you saw a black and white image which was of Dunda and Ashraf, which is one of the first warehouses owned by the South Asian community. And that was a picture from 1953. So the warehouse was there in the late 40s. The community stayed in large groups in one house, and they did this for safety and companionship. And they saved not only to feed themselves, but also to feed the family and to send money back home. So they helped the newcomers that had arrived with a kitty system until that person finally got a job and could help other newcomers. And this became the first steps to their social care training, which Uncle Rabani and I'm sure many others in the room will know all too well. So the early generation were very much holding values of brotherhood and comradeship as they faced the same challenges living in Scotland. They all came with a 5-year plan. Nobody was going to stay until their wives and children joined them in the late 50s onwards. Even then, not everyone called their families over. Some of them stayed in India and Pakistan. Many of them worked overtime in the jute mills of Dundee and in the trains and buses in Glasgow, working all hours as bus conductors and eventually when they learned to drive as bus drivers. Very hard work, long hours. But this daily interaction with people taught them social skills and of course the English language, which was essential for them to survive in this land which was foreign to them with a foreign culture. So this of course gave them the confidence to create their own jobs, open shops, warehouses, businesses, restaurants. They have and continue to actively contribute towards Scotland's GDP. Their children also valued the education opportunities, and many went on to university. Today, if you look around Glasgow, you can't imagine without the South Asian and Pakistani contribution from businesses, restaurants, shops, all sorts of institutions, through to being part of many other professions, including the police and the NHS. As Atta mentioned, our digital timeline on our website highlights many of these contributions, and it starts from 1855 till the present day. So many achievements, such as the late Bashir Mann, who from Glasgow became the first UK's publicly elected Muslim councillor in the 1970s. And if we fast forward 37 odd years or so, nearly 40 years, the UK's first Muslim MP was also from Glasgow, Muhammad Sarwar. We also have the late Yakin Walid, who opened Castle Cash and Carry in Europe in 1983, called Castle. He also donated £500,000 to the University of Strathclyde. And of course, we also have the late Uncle Shaheen Tufail, who did a lot of charity work and a lot of work around Glasgow Central Mosque. And of course, his Carlton Street building was donated towards Glasgow Central Mosque that we have today. So these are no coincidences. Scotland's South Asian population is very small compared with that down south. Yet, our forefathers achieved heights in politics, business, and in other fields that you would expect only from cities where there was a larger population of the South Asian community, such as Manchester or London. But why is this? The reason behind this is because the Glasgow's South Asian and the Pakistani community were highly organised, and they had a better integration experience, meeting people through peddling as well as working in shops compared with their English counterparts that mainly worked in factories. So today I'd like to thank and congratulate the Culture Asia team for actually reorganising this event and bringing the community together to celebrate Pakistan's 75th anniversary. So, Pakistan Day celebrations with the civic leaders have been happening since the late 1950s, as you will see in an upcoming film shortly that Colourful Heritage has made. I would like to highlight a beautiful quote from a letter sent from Pakistan's High Commissioner Iftikhar Ali to the late Bashir Mann in August 1963, in which he writes, "Glasgow is among the rare centres in this country where the Pakistani community are so united and live harmoniously." I'd like to finish off with a short prayer. May our lands, Scotland, Pakistan, India, be blessed, and the next generation continue to illuminate the Pakistani values of faith, unity, and discipline. Ameen. Thank you.